4 Mike 3, 7 Golf 4.
Why are you running my tag?
Because I smell marijuana.
Because you smell marijuana that gives you the right to run my tag?
Not only that, I'm going to search your car.
You're not going to search anything.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you're not.
I promise you.
You are
and
not going to break
not
my
only-
rights right now.
You're about to get your rights in the back of my
Y'all
car.
are violating our rights right now.
Which one?
I
Please
want
tell me
my
which
mom.
right you're getting
I
violated.
want my mom right
Tell
now.
me which right.
I want my
So
mom.
shut up.
I
You don't know
have
what
to
you're
say
talking
anything.
I'm emotion you, Dusty. Can I take her?
Yes. Well,
I love it when you do this.
And I'm a man. I'm like you. Why you gotta hit my mom like that, bro?
you can't. I'm a man. What do you hit my mom?
He ain't no man.
18. He's old enough to take a ride. He goes to the big boy jail.
So we're back with 3 criminal defense attorneys reacting to this video from Lackluster. Now, we have not seen this video, so you're going to see our real reactions. And at the end, we're going to give a grade to everybody involved. So let's see what happens. All right, guys, let's get started.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. On December 3rd of 2021, just before midnight, the Eastridge Police Department in Tennessee responded to a call for a well child check. Upon their arrival, they found a black Ford Fusion with 2 people inside, parked in front of the residence. The occupants, Angel and her son Devin, were there to pick up Angel's granddaughter so that the child's mother could work the following day. The incident report claims that Angel jumped out of the vehicle and started speaking to police upon their arrival, but the framing of the events that led up to Angel exiting her vehicle is much different than it appears to have been written. In the video, Officer Dyer first approaches the vehicle and tells them that they've responded for a welfare check concerning Angel's granddaughter.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, do you live here?
My daughter's living here.
Is she? In this? Is that 893?
Yeah, it is.
893. Okay. All right, hang on one second for me, okay?
Something wrong?
Well, we got called to check on a child.
What child?
I don't know. They didn't tell us. They just said do a welfare check.
From when? Like, what did they say?
Obviously concerned for her granddaughter, Angel then exited the vehicle to ensure the child was safe.
I don't know. We'll go up and knock.
Officer Dyer then runs the vehicle's plates as Angel's daughter and granddaughter exits the residence.
51 Tennessee 28.
I bet it was,
4 Mike 3, 7 Golf 4.
Why are you running my tag?
Because I smell marijuana.
You smell marijuana.
Yes.
Because you smell marijuana that gives you the right to run my tag?
Not only that, I'm going to search your car.
You're not going to search anything.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you're not.
I promise you.
You are
and
not going to break
not
my
only-
rights right now.
You're about to get your rights in the back of my car.
Well, that's what you want to do because
51
you're going
to
to get in real
67,
big
get out
shit
here.
when you do. Because I haven't done anything. I haven't
51 to
violated any rule
479.
or anything. You just sit there and talk to me and tell
That
me you're going to search my car.
I am going to search your car.
And you're running my tag.
I am going to
I'm
search
not
your
doing
car.
anything but sitting out here waiting for
I
my
don't
daughter
care.
to come back
I
out.
don't care. Your car's going to be searched. And if you interfere with my search, I will put you in the car and I
Okay,
will take you to
if you
jail.
go ahead and you violate my rights then.
So let's talk about the odor of cannabis emanating from a vehicle or allegedly emanating from a vehicle.
Well, he didn't say that. He just said, I smelled cannabis. That's all he said. We don't know if it's burnt. We don't know if it's fresh. We don't know where he's smelling it from, if it's on her person, if it's in the vehicle, or maybe from the other 17 vehicles that are parked in front of that house.
It's a good point. You're right. I made the assumption, but you're right. He didn't even specify. So if this was in Illinois, now Tennessee can be different. I'm sure it is different, but if that was in Illinois, can that vehicle be searched based on what this officer said so far?
I mean, there is a case that came down that said that the smell of cannabis is not enough. It's basically like a totality of the circumstances fact pattern here in Illinois. I don't know that, the call for a child welfare check plus cannabis,
Right.
They have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my suggestion, if I were him, I would say, out of an abundance of caution, hey, I don't know if you're involved in this child's well-being or not, but it seems like you're just as concerned. Can I check your car to make sure it's okay? Instead of, I smell cannabis, get your hands on the...
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
So many times what we see too when officers do smell cannabis or see cannabis, they play it really cool. Like, hey man, you got some weed, it's no big deal.
Yep.
How much do you have? Where is it? And then like Megan said, ask, can I search your car because I do smell cannabis, because consensual searches are legal. Start there. Don't start, at 10.
But you're exactly right. And you know, I think a good officer should keep it de-escalated as much as possible. One, because that's probably a preferred way to deal with other human beings, but two, the police work is actually more effective, right? If she does consent, lawyers like us probably got no real argument to keep him out of the car because she consented.
And most importantly, for everybody's safety. This is how people get hurt.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, put
Let's
your
do
hands on the
that.
car.
You violate my rights.
Put your hands on the.
Yo, what are you?
You're gonna put. You're
I said,
arresting
put
me?
your hands on the
You're
car.
arresting me for
Put
what?
your hand back up.
Hey, don't you put your. Hey.
Onto the family.
According to the lawsuit, Officer Dyer explodes in anger, grabs Angel, and slams her head and face into the vehicle. Once cuffed, Angel tries to tell him that she is injured and dizzy.
Oh my God, I'm so dizzy right now. He just banged my. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Shut up.
Once at his cruiser, the lawsuit claims that Officer Dyer pushed Angel against the back of a police vehicle and jerked her head backwards by grabbing her hair.
Stop moving.
He's pulling my hair.
The other officers on scene did nothing to stop the aggression, and appears to have either failed to capture the event on body cam, or the footage was one of the 3 videos that seemed to have been purged shortly after this record's request was submitted. At this point, Officer Dyer hands over Angel to Sergeant Myrick, who appears to have also failed to record this part of the incident.
Yep, the purging or the missing video
Yeah,
looked like it was like 30 days.
correct.
Okay.
That's what made me want to say that.
Yes.
So many police departments have policies that they destroy evidence captured in like a criminal case or a traffic case within a certain period of days, 30, 60, 90. But here in Illinois, there's a Supreme Court case called People versus Cladis that says that the police cannot do that.
Right.
They cannot destroy evidence that was collected in a criminal case, and a body-worn camera would be evidence of that until either the case is disposed. It's if the case is disposed and a court order is entered allowing them to destroy the evidence.
Yep.
And many police departments still destroy it. So we as criminal defense attorneys can file a motion and ask that the judge sanction the state by not allowing them to testify to anything that would have been shown on that destroyed evidence.
Yep. Yes. I don't know about many. I'm going to disagree with that a little bit. It happens. But I'd say this is a good thing about Illinois. All these people watch and be like, Illinois is terrible, and some of them have a point, right? But this is a great part about Illinois is that we, with a fairly high degree of certainty, know that whatever videos there were of this incident that we represent someone on, that if that video exists, we're going to get it, right? Now, of course, there are examples where it is deleted, but then we have recourse. We have actions that we can take in court. So yes, that is a great part about Illinois is that these videos should be preserved. Tennessee may be different.
Officer Anna Simmons arrives on scene.
I didn't even do
Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car.
Oh my God, I can't. I'm too big.
Sucks to be you. Get in the car.
Officer Simmons draws his taser and tries to push Angel into the confined space.
I didn't do anything. You're a woman. You're going to treat me like this?
Sergeant Myrick warns Angel that she's gonna be tased, and tases her at almost the exact same time.
You're a woman and you're going to treat me like this?
You're gonna get tased. Get in the car.
Listen.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
I'm getting in the car. Okay, I'm in.
As Angel's son and daughter voice their concern over the officer's actions, Officer Simmons decides to cuff them as well.
15. Shut the up before I take your to jail too. Get back.
Now, with everyone handcuffed, the officers claim that they didn't tase their mother.
Who did it? I need to know who did it.
Who did what?
Who tased my mama? She didn't get tased.
Get tased.
Then why was her taser going off over there?
Checking the fire, I guess.
That makes sense.
It does.
She didn't get tased. So then why was her taser? How about you worry about you? We'll worry about your mama. I don't really give a
That don't sound like it.
Do they not realize that they're being video and audio
This is
recorded?
the first day with body cams? Oh shit, this thing's on. That's crazy. And like, it's got me thinking, I mean, I get it. We're in Chicago. These guys, like, this is such a non-issue. Like, they smelled weed in a car.
Also, I think the 2-year-old walked out about 20 minutes ago and was fine.
Really?
Yo, what are you
I said put your hands on the...
So, like, God, if they're making just shut the F off, all this stuff over a smell of weed.
How do you think, too, that using a taser when somebody's in handcuffs already surrounded by multiple police officers just to get them to sit in the squad car is reasonable?
No, it's not. And I think there's going to be a lawsuit that displays that it's not, you know, that argues
If
that
she
it's
was
not
already handcuffed, then they should have let her at least stand by the car. Because technically, I mean, what
What's
was she
gonna
under
happen?
arrest
She's gonna
for?
run?
Yeah, exactly.
She wasn't gonna
run. So they could have let her cool off. They should have stepped away from her and instead of continuing to yell at her, because that's only making her angrier, and then making all of her family members super concerned. And now every officer, I feel like, has a member of the family, and they're all
Right.
you know,
The whole
mother
force is
effing
here.
each other.
Yeah, exactly. The whole force is here.
Officers are trained on like lethal force or reasonable force. They know like pressure points. We always see them like pushing clients' heads to get into the squad car. Like use one of those methods to get her in the car.
As opposed to the taser while she's
Yeah.
already cuffed. Yeah. Definitely not the proper use of the taser.
Sounds like you want to join your mama. Okay.
Y'all are violating our rights right now.
Which one?
I
Please
want
tell me
my
which
mom.
right you're getting
I
violated.
want my mom right
Tell
now.
me which right.
I want my
So
mom.
shut up,
I
you don't know.
Well, wait. I asked, why am I the one in handcuffs? Right? That,
Also, why am I telling you which rights you're violating?
well, sure, right. But this is just the guy's ego wanting to argue.
Yeah.
But like, right, why is she in handcuffs? Do we know? No one, does anyone really know?
I think that they indicated that they put all of them in handcuffs because they were alleging that they were like doing wrong by her mom. They were saying like you should never have tased her. You're violating her rights.
But that just, right.
Well, and a
they're
lot
not
of
legally arrested. Like
yeah,
that's
a
why
lot
they're
of
in
officers
handcuffs.
will just put somebody in confinement like that just to get them to settle and not escalate the situation. Everyone's yelling, and so their excuse is probably, well, for everyone's safety, everyone's going in cuffs.
Right, I agree that they put her in cuffs for safety, but I mean, is she free to leave? I mean, I
Absolutely not.
no, I would say her rights are being violated. And that safety argument can maybe last for a little while, but now there's, 8 officers on scene, it seems like.
Yeah.
The person who was under arrest is in the back of the squad car. I mean, that safety argument, you're in handcuffs for everyone's safety, can only last so long.
Especially since like the owner of the house and the house are right there. You could separate people, especially with the amount of officers that there are, and get things under control that way without placing people in cuffs.
Sorry,
You sound like you're about 7. You want to act like a big girl? You're going to get treated like a big girl.
Later, they sing a different tune about the tasing.
So I drive stunned her mom to get her in the car. Other than that, she's perfectly fine.
Other than that,
She wasn't home tased, right?
No.
Just drive stun? I'm just making sure.
Yeah, no, she just drives stunned. But I did it twice. No, I did it in her back and then like right here on her side.
The officers then question everyone and search the vehicle, and finally discuss their game plan. It's often said that officers can use discretion when deciding when a person should be arrested or charged with various crimes, but this little huddle shows that their decisions are commonly based on emotion.
We're talking about, we know the woman's going.
I'm emotionally invested. Can I take her?
Yes. Well, we were thinking.
I love it when you do this.
Yeah.
She's fine. She calmed down. She was an asshole, but she calmed down, was cordial and respectful. I don't really juveniles. I don't really want to take the other one.
Well, I had to tackle her.
That's correct. If somebody else wants to take her, I'm taking the one I'm emotionally invested in.
Which one are you invested in?
The one in your car.
Oh, well, I'll take you.
Okay, by all
here-
means.
All right, but promise you take a big one, you gotta take the second one too.
Officer Simmons displayed this level of excitement because she was, quote, emotionally invested, though she wasn't even on scene when the alleged offenses occurred, and the only interaction she had with Angel involved stuffing her into a vehicle after a considerable use of force was used against her for having an attitude, and when Angel told her later that she was rude.
Going to the hospital, I'm going to come. I'm talking. I'm telling you what's going to happen, okay?
You are very rude.
A short time after, an ambulance arrived and Angel was transported to the hospital, but the rescue couldn't leave without joking about whether or not she was single.
I just want to know, is she single? This one. What? Is she single? I don't know, man. Ask her. Hey, I already got her. Drew up.
Instead of a hot date, Angel was charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest.
Taking mom
What
for
about the
disorderly.
search?
Right.
They obviously didn't find
find
anything in the
anything.
car. We're not hearing anything about cannabis.
No. This whole we've talked about this. It seems like it comes up on all these videos. Resisting arrest when we're not even sure what they're under the arrest for in the first place, right?
Can you resist an unlawful arrest?
Right, exactly. And we've talked about this. For people who haven't seen, in Illinois, it is resisting or obstructing, right? I get that right? Resisting or obstructing. And so that's how they kind of lump it all together and say, well, even if you weren't under arrest for a legitimate reason, you were still obstructing our investigation, and they kind of lump it all together, at least here in Illinois. Fair analysis of that?
Yeah.
All right.
That is a good point, though. So basically, that woman got put under arrest because he smelled cannabis. But the original reason why they came on scene was for a wellness check of the child. It doesn't seem like they've done much investigation to determine if the child's okay. They didn't, to the best of our knowledge, go into the house. No one's been asked about this child. We thought we saw a child, but not sure if that's even the same child that they got called there for.
Yo, what are you? You're gonna put.
I said put your hands on the...
Yep.
So lots of problems with this.
Yes, I mean, so the citizen is interacting with the police, we'll call it that. The first pretense turns out to apparently be nothing, the wellness check. The second pretense, marijuana, turns out to be nothing. The only thing left is what you were resisting, which is what we see all the time.
If she ain't got insurance, I'm towing the car. We'll see.
You're good.
But
Who's
the car can just stay here. I mean, I'm
We'll
her
see.
daughter.
I
Please
see.
don't, it's already, please don't, because, I
Let's go.
want her out of jail, and I just had a baby.
And I feel for you, and I'm not trying to cause you no headache. I want you to understand. She, right. Yes. I understand it's your mother. You just got to understand we have a job to do also.
What was it?
Or your mother, okay?
Officer Dyer then attempts to speak to Angel's son.
Step out. Let's talk. How old are you, man?
I'm 18, sir.
18.
And I'm a man. I'm like you. Why you gotta hit my mama like that, bro?
You gonna keep the... All right, I tried. You see, I tried to talk to you like a man. I tried to talk...
Why'd you have to do her like that, bro?
Get in the car. I tried to talk to you. I tried. I'm not your bro. You see, I tried. You see, I tried to talk to him.
How old is he?
18. He's old enough to take a ride. He goes to the big boy jail.
For what?
He
So for those of you watching, officers need a reasonable, articulable suspicion to begin their investigation, and then probable cause to make an arrest. I don't know what it is.
What crime did this officer believe that he was committing or had committed or was about to commit in order to arrest him?
Yeah, he gotta go.
You tried to talk to him, he didn't want to talk to you?
Yep. Hey, bro, why you gonna hit my mom? I'm a man. Why you hit my mom?
He ain't no man.
He was arrested for disorderly conduct, for recording and yelling at police. The officer's report claims there was shake in the vehicle, but the only thing captured on body cam was an empty pill bottle, alleged to have residue in it. However, no one was ever charged with possession. Furthermore, when later describing the incident to Angel's daughter, Officer Dyer admitted that they had found nothing.
Listen, I want you to know how this would have went. Ma'am, I'm gonna have to search your car. Okay. I didn't find anything.
No, I don't even want to watch your movie. You must submit to my request to search your vehicle or else you'll get arrested, is essentially what he's saying.
Tased,
And
arrested, your entire family arrested.
That's how this should have went down.
Meanwhile, the 2-year-old is in the yard
Yes.
somewhere.
Right. Meanwhile, where's this 2-year-old?
That is the most telling to me. I don't know. That's like the most telling part of this is that's why this went down. Is because she
didn't abide by my authority.
Exactly. You exercised your right and didn't allow me to search your car for no apparent reason.
Guess what? Have a good night.
4 months after this incident, all charges were dropped, and in August of 2022, the family sued the city of East Ridge and the 4 officers involved. Looking deeper into the incident and the officers on scene, I found that Simmons was reprimanded in May of 2022 for sleeping in her patrol car while on duty. She was docked 1 day's pay for that incident, and on December 22nd of 2022, the East Ridge Police Department confirmed that they had fired Officer Anna Simmons for use of force and discourteous behavior while working for the agency. 3 days later, on Christmas Day, she was the first to respond to a deadly crash, confirming that she had transferred within 3 days of her termination to the Bradley County Sheriff's Office. It just so happens that Officer Simmons, Miller, and Dyer are all named in other lawsuits from incidents with the department, most involving excessive force. Overall, it's definitely important to know the laws that apply to you in your state, but escalating a simple encounter into a physical altercation is unacceptable, especially when there was never even an attempt to de-escalate the interaction.
That's not even a baby.
I thought, I was like, that baby looks too small.
It's a sweatshirt. Yeah. The sweatshirt's okay, you guys. I was like, I swear there was a baby on screen.
Yeah. Wellness check.
It was a bottle of lotion and a sweatshirt, actually. Yeah. And they are okay. So literally no check on the child ever.
I mean, not that we saw, no. Let's just talk for a second about the little huddle that those officers had, just generally. Now, we know that girl said some strange things, but just generally, somebody gets arrested. There's almost always multiple officers who respond. Fine. They usually do have a little conversation afterwards. That can be really innocuous. I mean, like to sort of find out who does what, who's going into custody where. There can be very, very good reasons for that. This one, though, was strange, right? In the sense that they were like, I don't know, like playing bingo or something. Like, I'll take this one, you got that one. I don't know. It was very weird. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times officers talk afterwards, like you're saying, to say like, okay, I'm going to stay here, you know, get witness statements, or I'll stay with the car, wait till the tow comes, you go back to the station, you write the report. But yeah, I mean, usually like say with the mom, she was in the back of a squad car. The officer that would take her to the station is the officer who arrived in that squad car.
Yes.
I thought that that was very odd and inappropriate, that they were almost like betting on who got to take who, and it was like some sort of prize.
Yep.
It was...
Yep, that's, you know what? Would it surprise you at all if back at the station they had some scoreboard, right, where they're buying each other lunch based on who has the most arrests and stuff?
Yeah,
like that's what that conversation kind of reminded me of. Like that wouldn't surprise me if they had something like that.
Also,
totally inappropriate.
Like who says they're emotionally invested? I think their jobs are to be the complete opposite, right? To not be emotionally invested. And as we said while we were watching it, like did they not remember that they were being audio and video recorded? Because that is, in my opinion, one of the purposes, right? Like if you know you're being audio and video recorded, you're probably going to be on your best behavior.
You would think.
Yeah. So that was just...
Maybe that was their best behavior.
Which is scary.
Yes. All right, Kelly. So give me your grade. How did they do? How did they act? Let's start with the arresting officer here, the guy who was talking most of the time.
An F, for sure. You know, he walks up to the passenger side of the vehicle, starts off nice, tells the woman why, you know, he's there. I think even right then, though, he lacked empathy. Like, he doesn't even know what her relationship is to the child. Basically says we're here on a wellness check. She has absolutely no idea why. As you pointed out, that would cause concern to anybody. And then all of a sudden just escalates the situation terribly, says he smells cannabis, doesn't even ask her to consent, and then starts screaming at her, telling her to shut up, putting her in handcuffs. I mean, this was terrible, in my opinion.
Megan, what do you think? What's your grade?
I would agree with F towards, you know, probably the only part he got like a B plus was maybe in the beginning when he's just like, hey, don't know, you know, if you're related to this house or anything, but we're doing a wellness check. And then, okay, so now they're meeting in the middle and they have a conversation. But then after a while, I mean, officers are trained to de-escalate, and all he did was escalate the entire situation with no cause. The swearing is inappropriate. Getting physical with her was inappropriate. She felt uncomfortable. You know, she started yelling back at him, but I think that was completely justified.
Starts off with a B, goes quickly down to an F. I had a few college credits like that. You know, you start off well, and then you miss a couple classes, you sleep in, and before you know it, F. Megan, I would agree with both of you guys. He gets an F. He botched this big time. Like I said earlier, the pretense, the second one, you know, the cannabis, and none of that comes to fruition. They arrest her on, you know, obstructing and resisting something that never should have happened in the first place. Big fat F. All right, so Kelly, what is your grade for the sort of second responding officer, the female? I think her name was Simmons.
I mean, if I could give her a worse grade than an F, I would. But yeah, she walks up to the scene. She has absolutely no idea what's going on. She doesn't know why this woman is in handcuffs, if what her partner, Officer Dwyer's actions were lawful or justified. She immediately starts screaming at her. The woman's saying, like, I'm too big to fit in here. They don't even try any other method to try and get her in, and then tease her, which is just so awful. It was hard to watch. And then when Simmons and the other officers are in the huddle talking about who's going to take which, you know, suspect to the station, she's like giddy with glee and saying she's emotionally invested. Like, it was almost evil.
Yeah, exactly.
It was terrible.
It's a great way to
she
put
should
it.
not be a police officer.
Evil is a great way to describe it. So Megan, what's your grade for her?
Overall, because she was emotionally invested in this arrest, even though she had nothing to do with the, you know, prequel to all this, I would give that an F.
Yeah.
One, even if she was excited about it, it's not her call. Dyer should have saw it all the way through, from his craziness to all the way to the end.
Yeah.
She had nothing to do with it. And just, yeah, her demeanor was inappropriate, and she gets an F.
Yep, I agree. An F for sure. Two reasons. One is obviously the tasing. You know, person's already in handcuffs. That's a lawsuit, right? You can't just use excessive force like that when somebody's already in handcuffs and they're just refusing to, they're taking a long time to sit in the car, right? But I think bigger than that is the words that she said throughout this. Doesn't, you know, calling the person, you know, it's too bad for you that, you know, you're too big to get in the car, shut the F up. Those aren't per se illegal. They may be, you know, pretty bad behavior from a police officer and not what you would hope for and expect. But the bigger issue is that the fact that she was doing that from the very get-go with multiple people tells you that this person has a problem, right? I don't know. I'm not her therapist. Whoever her therapist is not getting paid enough. But there's some major issues there, right? In terms of how she should conduct herself as a police officer, even as a human being. So big fat F on that one. Kelly, how about the woman who was arrested, the defendant here?
I'm gonna say a B. You know, I feel very badly for her, how she was treated. It escalated way too quickly. But I think that the one mistake that she made was right off the bat saying, like, why are you running my tags? You don't have the right to run my tags. Officers do have the right to run anybody's license plate. They don't need reasonable suspicion. They don't need probable cause. That's public information. And then, you know, he's saying, I smell cannabis, I'm going to search your car. And she's like, no, you're not. You know, so I would say if she could have gone back in retrospect and done one thing differently, that's what I would have advised her. But that being said, that did not warrant the treatment that she received by any means. And I do hope that she is successful in her civil lawsuit.
Yes. Yep. Megan?
I would give her a B minus.
Okay.
But for her specifically, I agree with Kelly. As soon as she said, why are you running my tags? She gets on the defensive, and police officers do not like that. Whether they respond, you know, inappropriately, that's on them, and he should have been penalized for how he acted with her. However, right out the gate, you know, raise a flag, and then that raises a flag for a police officer, and then you start going toe to toe.
Yes.
So this could have all been avoided. I know that, you know, if one officer's an asshole, you can't fight asshole with being snotty and
right.
in their face again.
Right.
Be as compliant as possible. Say, yes, I agree. He does have the right to run the tags, whatever he wants to do. Cool. As soon as she starts getting argumentative, that does not end well for anyone.
True.
I want to add a caveat to that, because what I would say is you should be polite and cooperative to the police officers while still maintaining your rights. So I would not advise her to allow or agree to a search of the car.
Yes.
You know, if it's a DUI, we always say don't do the field sobriety test, don't blow. But if the officer says get out of the car, you should get out of the car. You know, and
Precisely.
yeah, and it's about, I think, your attitude with the police officers many times that escalate things.
I'm gonna give her an A minus though.
This one was tough.
Yeah, so sure, I agree that forget our job. Her job of beating her case, right, with the help of an attorney, is easier overall if you are polite, quiet, respectful. But at the same time, I'm not going to hold the citizen to the same standard that I'm holding the officer. And she did do the one thing that we tell people to do, which is know your right and don't consent if you don't want to consent. And that's what she was doing. She was standing her ground and saying, you don't have a basis to search this car and I'm not going to consent to this car. Yes, it gets a little heated, right? And it does become a confrontation, an argument, and, you know, everyone's egos got got quickly, ran up and went toe to toe. At the same time, I'm going to give her a pass on that one because of, I'm going to hold the officer at a higher standard, much, much higher standard than I do her. All right, and the mystery guest of this video was the baby, I think. What's your grade?
My grade is an A+. Sweatshirt managed to act as though it was a child. Therefore, the officers never cared about the child after that.
That's so weird. Megan, what do you thought? Any thoughts on that one?
A+ for acting effort.
Yeah.
It was completely believable.
There
I
you
think that the child was well-being check.
Yep.
The sweatshirt fooled everybody.
Yeah.
It did. So there you go. Big fat Fs. Terrible grades to those police officers who were involved. We know at least one of them got let go, but then found a new job somewhere else. In my opinion, none of them deserve to be law enforcement officers, and hopefully they no longer are, because that poor woman did not deserve any of that. Obviously, much, much higher grades for her. She obviously has a lawsuit, and I hope she prevails. If you liked this video, now check out the next one. There's links somewhere around here to a really good video where this poor girl, an 18-year-old, gets basically attacked by police officers so they can illegally seize her cell phone. It's ridiculous, and you got to check it out if you're into this sort of thing.